Hey guys, One Fun Guy podcast in the studio, hanging out tonight. I had a couple ideas about my podcast, so I'm going to run it past you guys. I'm going to post this video on YouTube. Two things. First off, I'm going to have Paranoia Threat as a guest on Saturday. It's going to be a great time. We're going to talk about mental health issues. We're going to talk about podcasting. We're going to talk about gaming. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. She's awesome. She's tons filled with knowledge. She's an amazing person and has an amazing backstory. So that's the first thing. The second thing what I was doing, guys, is thinking about doing a podcast with a guest a week. And then the next week doing a podcast by myself and just kind of talking about my life and how I do podcasting and how I find my guest and things like that. Maybe you guys get to know me a little bit better. And then the next week do one with a guest. Then the next week myself. Next week with a guest, because I have everybody lined up. But the problem is really finding time, right, guys? That's the big thing. I love having guests, but they all have lives, right? I work. I have a job. I have a life. They have lives. We all trying to get people on a time frame is tough. I need 100 subscribers on YouTube. I'm at 95 right now, guys. So if you're watching this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you see this and you're live, please subscribe, guys. If you can, I could do pre-recorded shows then and post them to YouTube, and then I wouldn't have to worry because I could do my podcast at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, whenever. But I don't have that luxury right now, guys, so I'm close, very, very close. So that was my idea about my podcast. So maybe guest myself, and then I could do like product reviews or like stuff, that I use on my job, different things that I have. Obviously, I'm an avid knife collector. I'm a music fan. There's a lot of things that I am besides just my job and my podcast. So maybe I could open, myself up a little bit and you guys could, maybe interact with me and ask me questions or, if you have ideas about something I should review. I have a ton of gear, so stuff I use on the daily. Maybe I could talk about that kind of stuff. I don't know. The sky's the limit. I just kind of want to, broaden my spectrum a little bit and kind of make it to where I can go, into, somebody else, if they're doing it, if anybody wants, to suggest anything, please let me know. If you have any ideas or things you want me to see or do or talk about, let me know. You could just message me here or on onefunguypodcast@gmail.com. Send me an email. I read all my stuff. So I'm just kind of toying with some ideas, guys. I watched the video today and it really kind of sparked, that kind of fire to, maybe open myself up a little bit. So that's kind of one thing that I've been, looking to delve into. I have no shortages of guests, but I have shortage of time, right? So it's a kind of give take relationship. I have tons of people that want to be on, but their time frame is narrow, and so is mine. So I don't know. That was just an idea. Tell me what you guys think, though. If you like that idea, shoot me a message. Give me a thumbs up. If you could share my show and follow me, I'll follow you back. I'm just kind of basically, guys, into the mode of where I'm just trying to entertain people, but I want to make it fun and I want to make it appealing and I want to make it likable and enjoyable. If I could, if I could make myself entertaining, to try to get more viewership, I definitely would. I think I have a lot to offer. I know my guests have a lot to offer. So I'm just trying to figure this out, right? It's kind of a hard road to navigate. I'm new to podcasting. I've been doing it now for about a month and a half. I will have my 9th episode coming up with Paranoia Threat. That's going to be awesome. History Buff was my last guest. He was phenomenal. He's going to be on again. I've stayed in contact with him. So I got a lot of stuff going on, and it's a lot of positive stuff, and I'm excited. But I think at some point I have to pivot and try to figure this out. I'm navigating, and I'm new to it. But I don't know. Those were just my thoughts. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I should do that, if you guys think I should just stay on my course and just have, conversation podcast every week and just try to find guests. Like I said, I have no shortage of guests. I have shortage of time, if that makes sense. Just trying to balance everything and going. Yeah, Reaper CHPT01. I don't know if that's Reaper Chapter 1, but yeah, I'm going to keep going like that. This isn't stopping right now. The train is rolling. I have momentum. moving forward is not an issue. It's just how I want to move forward is my issue now. I have some ideas written down of things I want to do, of things I want to discuss. I had some issues with my guest that I was going to have previous to this, not being able to do it. And so, again, I have people. That's not the issue. Time is the issue. But I think I'm harping on that a little bit too much. But anyways, I would also like to know what you guys would want to see out of me. Like I said, I have a bunch of equipment that I use at work. So if you want me to review anything, I can. Like I said, I can talk about music. I could talk about sports. I could talk about wrestling. I could talk about history. I'm pretty well versed in everything. I feel like I'm a pretty well-rounded character. I think I'm enjoyable enough to watch. Like I said, I try to entertain, I try to educate, and I try to empower. Those are the three things that I love to do on my podcast, right? If I could do one of the three things, awesome. If I could do one of the three things, even better. And if I could do three of the three things, that's fantastic, right? But I have a lot of people asking me about starting podcast, and I don't know because I'm new myself, right? Like, I'm not a pro at this. I'm not an expert. And I hopefully one day I will be, right? But like I said on my last live, I want to use these to look back on, right? So when I have 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years down the road, I can look back at this chapter in my life and say, wow, look at where I started. Look at the fundamentals that I had. Look at what I did, how really tight it was. But, I'm a one-man show, guys. I don't have editors. I don't have producers. I don't have photographers. I don't have filmographers. I have none of that. I'm just one guy doing a show. I have my iPad, my phone, my microphone, and my computer to edit. That's basically it. I'm the one-man show. So everything is up on my YouTube channel. Check it out. It's One Fun Guy Podcast over on YouTube. But all my stuff is there. I don't hide anything. I don't, all the cuts are in. I don't take anything out. I don't do anything else other than be myself and be on my show. And guys, thank you for all the hearts and the likes and the Easter eggs and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome, guys. It really makes me feel like I'm doing something here. But I always say this too, guys. If you want to be a guest on my show, ask me. We'll figure out a day and time to get you on. If you know somebody who might be a guest, a lot of people have different walks of life, right? They have friends that, might be somebody or think they have, something to offer. Shoot me a message and I'll reach out to them. The worst they could say is no. So, I met a really cool girl on here. Her name is Crystal. And she's like, hey, my husband's cousin's in a band and you like music, do you want to talk to him? I'm like, sure. Send me a message. I reached out to him. He's like, dude, I'd love to do your podcast. I'm like, awesome. So it's networking, right? There's no secret to it. TikTok's a great platform to meet people and network, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm having a blast doing it. It's great. But I'm ready to reach out and get the ball even rolling faster. So if you want to be a guest on my show or you ever thought about being on a podcast, now's your chance. I'll definitely have you on. I'm a conversation style podcast. Like I said, all my stuff is on YouTube and I keep it simple, right? It's light, it's fun. I'm not going to ask invasive questions and make you, tell us about your past or, how, deep you want to go or I keep it, very, very easy going. If you want to delve into stuff and you want to talk about stuff, I'm cool with that. I like I said, I could talk to anybody. I've run across people who say, I'm just a person. I have nothing to offer. I always say this, guys. Everybody has a story, right? You've lived a life, whether it was a good one, an indifferent one, a bad one, whatever. But you're here, right? So mistakes you've made in the past, you've learned from. You've grown from it. Everybody has experiences in something. Everybody's unique. Everybody's got a gift or a talent or stuff they like. So anybody that wants to be on my show to talk about anything, we can. So I have, music. I have, stuff like that I'm involved in. I have some people that are asking me to get on, but I kind of want to publish this to YouTube. And I really hate having people on if they don't know. Yeah, we all have something to offer. Exactly. Right. So as minute as it may seem, it might mean something to somebody, right? So everybody has experiences. Everybody has, stuff that they've been through, stuff that they've accomplished, stuff that they've lost, stuff that, everybody does. But if you want to tell your story, my platform's great. Like I said, I've lived a pretty awesome life. I always say that if today was my last day on earth, I've accomplished a lot. I'm proud of what I've done. I'm happy where I'm at now. I'm content. I'm very. Oh, that's awesome. See, that's, how awesome is that, right? Being a part of a motorcycle organization is fantastic, right? So it's just one of those things. And again, we talking about like mental health issues and domestic violence is a very real thing, right? We've all at some point experienced it, whether it was somebody we know or somebody that we are friends with, or it might have even been yourself, right? But that's a very real thing, right? So what you're doing is noble, right? That's awesome. You assist them, and that's great, right? Get them out of a toxic environment, especially when it's now, right? When it's acute, right? Always prepare for the future, right? You'd rather be proactive than reactive, right? But you do the best you can in a situation. So, Reaper, you know what I'm talking about, right? So, getting ahead of that, right? Knowing that you're somebody's in a bad situation and talking to them about it and say, hey, listen, we need to get you out of this and get you safe, before it's too late. Because you don't want to show up on a victim after he or she's been attacked or has been part of an assault or even worse, right? So you don't want to be reactive in that situation. You want to be proactive. But I know how difficult that could be. So you're doing a noble thing. That's awesome. So good for you to be out there in the community and so supporting that's a great cause. But everybody has a story. Everyone's got something they can tell. So that's kind of where, my mindset is. So that's why I was thinking about doing a podcast with a guest and then a podcast by myself and then a podcast with a guest and then a podcast with myself, because I could go on and talk about somebody who hops on and says, hey, would you want to talk about this? Well, they're not on screen with me, but they have something to say, and I would love to address that. So I'm thinking about doing that, right? So just hitting the live button, doing a 45-minute or an hour segment where I just interact with my viewers and I talk about me and my life and what I've done and what I've accomplished and what I have. And then, I could talk, like I said, about the tools of my trade, what I use on my job, different products that I use, different bags that I use, different accessories, different. So I don't know. It was just a thought. I think that, that would be something that, I would want to do. But again, I want it to be I want you guys to be entertained, right? I don't want you to sit through something like, so say for example, I do like some knives that I have, right? So I have some pretty high-end knives and I have some budget knives. So maybe I do that. But if you're not interested in knives or you're like, I don't care about this, it's a very small community, right? But a lot of people enjoy that kind of stuff. So maybe they're looking to buy a knife, right? Or they don't know what to do. So maybe I can give some insight about some of the stuff that I have. So, between like high-end knives, right? So you have your Spydercos, you have, not right off the top of my head, I can't, I'm drawing a blank now, but, I have a few high-end knives, and then I have a few budget knives like Kershaw's and, things like that. So CRKT knives, which are great knives, they're just low end. So I don't know, maybe I should think about doing something like that, or maybe doing like, like I said, maybe product reviews. I have a bunch of bags and backpacks and stuff. I like the outdoors. I like doing that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's just thought. But for my own personal channel on YouTube, I want to get it to grow, right? So I want to get 100 subscribers, then work on 500, then work on 1,000, then work on 1,500, 2, and then 10, and then 20, 30, 100, and then go up from there. So like I know it's not going to be easy, right? It's hard work. It takes a lot. Today I worked a 12-hour day. I had a meeting that I just got home from, and I'm like exhausted, and I know that I have to go live because I have to put out content that's going to be relatable. So I want to share what I'm going to do with Paranoia Threat, that she's going to be my guest on Saturday. We're going to talk about mental health and some other stuff, but I'm going to publish this video to YouTube. So that's why I declined some of my friends that wanted to get on with me, because again, I don't want to have them come on and then I post it to YouTube and, say, why did you do that? So, excuse me, it's just easier for me to stay solo that way I know that I'm not going to get anybody where they don't want to be, right? Because I don't know. Yeah, so, right. So, right. So the things that I care about, that I'm passionate about, maybe you are. So I don't know. It was just a thought. I'm pondering an idea. Wishing What's Up by Robert. What's going on, bud? Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Like I said, I have a lot of equipment that I use at work. So it was just a thought. But like I said, I'm passionate about music, right? I like hard rock and heavy metal. I could talk bands all day. I like wrestling. I could talk wrestling all day. I played football in college. I could talk about football all day. I could talk about sports all day. I played baseball all the way through high school, and I stopped into college. So track and field. I threw shot put. So I like sports. I like different things in life just besides podcasting and my job, which I love doing both. But there's other things I'm passionate about as well. So I don't know. There's some things that I had thought about maybe doing or, showing. And like I said, if I did it and it kind of bombs, then I don't ever have to do it again, right? So if I try it and no one watches it and everyone says, wow, that was a disaster, don't do that again, then I just don't do it again, right? So we learn from it. But I don't know. I think it might be pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm not having a hard time finding guests at all. I have a list of people that want to be on my show. Time is the issue, right? So somebody says, well, I'm not available until, May, or I can do it in June, or, well, I have to do one weekly, right? So I just figured if I did a guest weekly and myself weekly, then it would be like a bi-weekly guest, but I would still do considered a weekly podcast, which is what I want to do. Because like I said, I've been doing this now 9 weeks and I've had 9 guests and it's been great. So I don't know, just something I thought about doing. I don't know. It's just, kind of off the top of my head. I watched a video today on YouTube, and the guys that were on were, talking about, breaking it up into segments, which obviously I don't have that yet. So I do an hour podcast. Some guys do a 3 or 4 hour podcast. So they break it up into 3 or 4 weeks. So they'll do like the first hour 1 week, the second hour, the third hour, the fourth hour. But I don't have enough followers to do that yet to post it. So that's my problem, is that going live on StreamYard, which is my platform, I can only go live to one source right now, which is Facebook. Then I have to take that video and upload it to YouTube. However, if I get 100 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm close to, I'm 5 away, I'm at 95 right now. So if you get 100 subscribers on YouTube, I could go live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, all 3 at once. And then I could post, if I go longer and the algorithms don't match up with what I'm doing, it doesn't matter, because then I could break the segment up, or I could just put it all on YouTube and let it sit. Because like I said, my guy is Sean Ryan, right? I love the Sean Ryan Show. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a Navy SEAL. He's part of Vigilance Elite. He's got, thanks, Reaper. He's got a great podcast. But some of his guests he interviews for 5.5, 6 hours, right? So whether they're Navy SEAL buddies, whether they're Army guys, whether they're Marines, or they were in the Air Force, or they're they work for the CIA or the FBI or whatever, he's got the platform to do it. He's got, almost 2 million subscribers. So it's a different issue, but it's kind of where I am. So like, they always say pick, 1 or 2 people to emulate and do that. Well, he's the guy that I emulate, right? So obviously you have a Joe Rogan and a Howard Stern. They got awesome podcasts, right? They're all, pros. They've been doing it for a while. They got hundreds and millions of followers and billions of views. So I aspire to that, right? Like, I would love to be Joe Rogan one day. I'd love to be Howard Stern one day. I'd love to be Sean Ryan one day, right? Like, but I had to start somewhere. So I'm putting in the work to do it, which is what I'm doing. Hey, Michelle, what's going on? Thanks for hopping in. But it really, to me, is a passion thing, right? But I want to make it enjoyable as well. So, like, I do it for me, but I also want to do it for you. Like, I want to make it fun. I want to make it enjoyable. I want to make it fun. I just don't want to be a mundane guy, that just kind of monotones through it. Like, I like to have reaction. I like to have, guests on, because the energy, right? It's exciting talking to new people and meeting them and, listening to their story and talking. I know all about me, right? So I could sit here for, 3 hours and talk about me, but I want to make it entertaining, right? I want to make it exciting. I want to make it, educational, even empowering. Like I said, if I could do that, right? So, I always say, if you have an idea in your head, and you always thought about doing something, do it. I like I said, I came across a great quote the other day, and most people say, you only live once, and the quote was, you don't, you die once, you live every day. So every day's a new day. So every start, every morning you wake up is a fresh start, right? That's a new day of life that you've been granted. So you didn't die, but you live every day. And that really resonated with me. I'm like, that is an awesome quote, because what you do tomorrow, you don't know, but what you did yesterday, you can't change. So you have to live in the now. So that's my empowerment to people, is to say, hey, listen, if you ever wanted to do this something, right? I want to be a fisherman. I want to golf. I want to try driving a car fast. I want to jump out of an airplane. I want to, learn how to fly. Now's the time, guys, right? Because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, and we can't go back to yesterday. So we have these moments that we can plan to do stuff, but every day you live through it and you don't start your plan, or you wait, which is what I did. And I can speak from it personally, because I had this idea about podcasting like in 2021, 2020. And I gave myself every excuse. I'm like, you don't have the right equipment, you don't have a studio, you don't have a place to do it, you don't have any guests, you don't know. All I should have done was hit the play button 3 years ago, right? But I didn't. So I did a month and a half ago. So I learned that I can't go back in time and change what I didn't do, but I can start every day knowing that I get a new chance. So that's what I do. I wake up in the morning and I say, I'm going to go live on TikTok, I'm going to go live on Facebook, and I'm going to go live on Instagram, and I'm going to see what happens, right? Because you never know what's going to happen, right? You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who you're going to come across. You don't know who's going to be watching your show, right? So you just take that chance that somebody might stumble upon what you're doing and say, wow, that's pretty awesome. I like what this guy's doing, or I like what this girl's doing. So that's my empowerment to people, right? It's not easy hitting a live button, right? Especially if you don't like to talk, or you're an introvert and you're shy, or you're timid. But if you do it and you don't know what's going to happen, you'll never know. So hit the live button and see, right? So the first time I went live, I didn't even know I was going live. I was sitting in the den with my wife, and I'm like, what is this plus button here? She goes, oh, that's to go live. I was like, I don't have enough followers to do it. So I was like, I'm just going to hit it anyways, right? So I hit it, just messing around. I was in a t-shirt and in shorts, and all of a sudden I see 3, 2, 1. Well, I didn't know I was live. I was like, am I live? So she hops on. She goes, you're live. I'm like, I stayed on for 45 minutes and talked about pretty much nothing. And I didn't know I could record it and download it, or else I would have, right? I would have loved to have gone back to that just to say, holy wow, this is awesome, right? Because I didn't know I was live. I just did it. So again, it's the little bit of the empowerment, the little bit of the education, and the little bit of the entertainment. Like I said, I call myself the one fun guy, because what you see is what you get. I am no different when I go live than how I am in the real world. So if you ever came across me at an airport or at an event and you saw me and recognized me, I am the same guy, right? I don't flick the switch to go live and pretend that I'm somebody, and then when I go off camera, I'm somebody else. What you see is what you get. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I enjoy life. I love living. I'm very content with my life. I am, like I said, I'm proud of the things I've accomplished. I'm proud of where I'm at. I've earned what I got. So I'm super, super excited. So I love life. Like, I can honestly say that every day I wake up, I feel blessed that I get to spend another day on this earth. So I have a different approach to things, because of the stuff I went through, with all my surgeries and recovery and stuff like that. Because there was a point where I didn't know I was going to have another day. So for me, now it's a blessing. Every day I wake up, I feel blessed that I'm here, and I want to make the most of my day. But sure, I have a job, I have errands, I have things to do, but one day I would love to be monetized to where I could say, listen, I'm going to be a podcaster for my career, right? This is my new job now. So I can move into this and say, I'm going to focus all my money, all my energy, all my everything on podcasting, and then that's where I want to be. And I know it's not going to come easy. It's not going to, start tomorrow, but that's what I'm aspiring to. So, hopefully 3, 4, 5 years down the road, like I said, I look back on these recordings and say, wow, how, rustic that is, right? How raw it is, because I don't do any editing. When I'm done with this video, I am going to download it, and I will upload it right to YouTube. So what you see is what you get. And like I said, this is me. So I don't change. Like, I smile, I laugh, I have a good time, I enjoy life. You know, sure, I have stresses, and sure, I have bad days. Everybody does. But I try to move past those really, really quick, right? I try to make the best of every day. I try to live every day to the fullest. I try to take advantages of every situation that I can. I try to meet as many new people as I can. And that's what I love about TikTok. Like, it's great. So, you know, when you look back, right, when I was in college 25 years ago, we didn't have any of this, right? The only people you knew were the people you came across. And if you were too shy or too timid to talk to somebody, then you didn't meet that person. You just went about your own way. But now you can pretty much send somebody a message, get to know somebody, find out that you have a ton of stuff in common, and, you know, kind of go from there. So like Reaper, for example, right? He's on my show now, right? I don't really know him at all, right? But I guarantee you that if I send him a message after the show, and we start talking about motorcycles, and we start talking about life, and we will have more in common than you could ever possibly imagine. And I guarantee you that by the end of our conversation, we'll be friends. So it's great, right? So I met somebody new tonight that I didn't know before, who hopped on my show, and now we're chatting and we're interacting with each other. So after the show, for sure, I am going to follow him, and I'm going to send him a message, and we're going to talk, and we're going to get to know each other a little bit. And I guarantee it's going to be a great conversation, and we're going to get along great, and we're going to be buds. I can tell already. Like, I have a pretty good intuition about people, and I know me and Reaper will be friends, right? So that's awesome. So I met a new friend tonight. So how great is that? So take it for what it is. Every day is a new opportunity, right? It's a new day to network. It's a new day to meet people. It's a new day to talk. It's a new day to live. It's a new day to come up with ideas. It's a new day to do everything. So that's kind of like I said. So if the empowerment side of this is working, then that's what it is, right? I love to make people feel good about themselves, because everybody has something to offer in this world. And I know there's people that battle demons, right? There's people that have anxiety. There's people that have depression. There's people that have social anxiety. There's people that don't like other people. I get that. So I understand where they come from. I don't personally have that, but I have those people that watch my show or that are involved in the field that I'm in. I see that, and I get it, right? So it's not for everybody, but the people that it is for are the ones that are going to make new friends. They're going to meet new people, and they're going to come across people that they wouldn't have normally ever met before, right? In an unlikely social setting, either at a bar, restaurant, or concert, or sporting event, or something like that, right? So think about it, right? You go to a restaurant. You're sitting there with whoever you're with, right? Whether it's a friend, a wife, a spouse, a brother, a sister, whoever, right? And there's people sitting next to you. There's people sitting beside you. There's people sitting in front of you, and there's people sitting behind you. Are you going to go up to the person sitting behind you, next to you, or either side of you and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you, right? You're not going to do that, right? Most people would not do that, right? Now, if you happen to sitting a table over and you're over listening in on a conversation, and you happen to say, hey, I heard what you were saying, I think this, and you start a conversation, that would be more likely to happen, right? But you're not going to go up to a total stranger, introduce yourself, and say, hey, I'd like to get to know you as a person, right? Most people aren't going to do that. But in this world, you can, right? So I could send somebody a message and say, hey, I like what you're doing. I saw your picture. You were playing guitar. You were playing drums. You were playing golf. And I liked it. I really like the hat you were wearing. I like the sunglasses. What are they, right? So you can start a conversation with a total stranger and not even think twice about it. But if you were in a social setting at a restaurant, would you go up to the person sitting next to you and say, hey, I really like your hat. What is that, right? More than likely, you're going to steal a creepy picture of it and try to Google it and find out what it is, right? But on here, you would have no problem sending somebody a message saying, hey, I saw your video. You had this awesome shirt on. Where can I get that shirt? And they'll probably say, oh, it's Adidas or it's Nike or whatever, right? So it's a totally different environment. You can make friends more easily here, and you're more accessible to people, right? But I would have no problem at a concert or a social event. If I saw somebody wearing something cool, I'd be like, hey, dude, those are awesome. So I'll give a funny story, right? I'm a big fan of sunglasses, and I have a bunch of Oakleys, I have a bunch of Magpuls, I have some other different styles, right? And I always wanted a pair of Gators, right? I love Gator sunglasses, but they're expensive. They're like $250. So I was at an ice cream shop, right, the other day. Well, not the other day, it was last summer, right? See a guy, he's got Gators on. So I said, hey, I like your Gators. He goes, my what? I'm like, your sunglasses, your Gators. He goes, oh, they were gifted to me as a friend. He's like, I did a job for a buddy, and he gave me these for helping him out. And I'm like, you realize what you have on, right? And he's like, sunglasses. I was like, no, but those are Gators. They're meant to be like military inspired, and they're worn by like predominant members of like the military, like the elite special forces solely wear Gators. And he didn't know. So I kind of informed him about it, and then I was like, you got cool sunglasses, and one day I'd love to have a pair of Gators. So that was kind of it, right? But I asked, and he didn't know. So I educated him about sunglasses that he had on that he had no idea. So I think he felt a little bit cooler walking away knowing that I told him that, all these, like I said, elite special forces and guys that are sponsored by Gators, that's what they are. They're super expensive. They're awesome sunglasses, but I just don't have $250 to spend right now on those. But one day I will, and I will have my Gators, and I'll wear them on the show, and I'll show them to you. But right now I'm rocking Oakleys. I like Oakley, and who knows, maybe somebody from Oakley's watching this and wants to sponsor me, send me some sunglasses. I'll take them. But yeah, my wife owns a boutique. She sells these. They're called Ambers. They're awesome hoodies. I wear them all the time. This one says Coffee and Adventure. And so, if you like these shirts, ask me where I got it, because I'll tell you, my wife sells them. So if you like hoodies that are super comfortable and stretchy, and, that, kind of fit nice and tight in the shoulders and arms to show your flex a little bit, but are loose in the chest and stomach, hit me up. I'll send it over to her. You can get Coffee and Adventure. So, like I said, she, just the little things, right? But yeah, so I'm kind of going on a tangent, but what I'm saying is socially, these platforms are great because you can meet people that you never would have met in real life, and just being honest with that, ideology, right? Where here you have no problem sending somebody a message saying, hey, this is cool, or hey, you did this, or hey, you did this. But going to a restaurant, going to a bar, would you walk up to somebody and say, hey, I like your tie, right? You wouldn't. More than likely, you would just, kind of like I said, if you did like it, you'd try to snap a picture of it and, kind of Google it later. So that's why I like the networking of this. But I'm using this to grow my YouTube, because that's where I want to do my podcast from. So it makes the most sense, right? So I love TikTok for what it is. I love everybody on TikTok that has a niche and that makes money going live, doing battles. Awesome, right? If you could make TikTok your career, and you can quit a 9-to-5 job because you make more money doing TikToks than you do at work, you are awesome, right? That is, whether you like the person, you don't like the person, you think the person's stupid, you think they're dumb, you think they're great, it doesn't matter, right? They did something that we can't do, right? I can't quit my job because I made it on TikTok. But if I did, it would be something that I would love to do, right? If I made $5,000 a month doing TikTok, I would, in a heartbeat, quit my job and do that, right? But I don't. So, but I appreciate the people that do. So I always tell everybody, to be nice to people, right? Be kind, support people, lift people up. If you don't like what I'm doing or what I'm saying, right, you can come on my live and make obnoxious comments and do whatever, but why do that, right? And I always tell people, you don't know whether their live is their cry for help or their lifeline that they're trying to reach out to people. You go on there and make them feel bad about themselves. You don't know what the outcome is going to be after they end their show, right? They might do something harmful to themselves or somebody else. So be nice to people, be kind, be uplifting. If you don't like what they're doing, it takes literally 0.3 of a second to scroll up and go to the next page, right? But there's people that hop in other people's lives to make fun of them or to challenge them or to, and I don't want to say hate. I really dislike when people do that, right? Be kind, be nice. Everybody's on here for a reason. We want to enjoy each other's company. We want to enjoy each other's lives. So just be uplifting. If you don't have anything nice to say, just move on. But say, hey, I like what you're doing, or hey, your show, is great. You're doing a great job. You're awesome. You're amazing, right? Those would make comments people feel good about themselves, right? Don't go on there and say you're ugly or you should get off of here, because again, you don't know what somebody else is feeling like on the other side of that camera. So that's my message to people: is be nice, be kind, be respectful. And I say that on every live that I do, is just be nice, treat people with respect. Whether you think they're goofy or silly or weird or whatever, somebody else is enjoying them. So you don't have to put anybody else down to make yourself feel better. It's not what this is about. There are a bunch of people on here that I absolutely love, and I love watching them, and I love following them. And there's some people that I just don't get it personally. I'm like, I don't understand how this person is doing this and doing it. And again, other people enjoy that, right? So I will give you an example, right, of one of my TikTok pet peeves to say, right? When people go live and they sleep and they put the camera on them snoring and they are fast sound asleep and they have 150 people watching them, gifting them while they're sleeping, I don't get that, right? Now, I'm not saying it's weird. I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm not saying it's stupid. I'm just saying I don't get it, right? I don't want to watch anybody sleep, right? But there's obviously a bunch of people that like that because they're watching somebody take a nap or asleep at night. So who am I to say what's good or not good about that? But it irks me a little bit because you don't do anything, right? You're just there. So if I were to fall asleep right now and close my eyes and put my head down, how many people would watch me? I don't know. Maybe there'd be a ton of people that would, if I was the sleeping guy, so instead of one fun guy, I was one tired guy. And all I did was nap when I was live, right? I don't know. But that irks me. But other people obviously enjoy it because they have people watching it. So I just scroll up. I don't say anything. I just move on. So little things like that. Now I've gone on a total tangent, and I don't know where I was with I started off with empowerment. Now I'm on people sleeping on TikTok. So I don't know where this is going, but again, that's just my point: is be nice to people, I guess, and be kind, because you don't know, right? No one ever really knows what's going on with somebody else, right? So they might be live and they might look terrible and they might look miserable, and they and people are mean to them, and they might end their live and do something that they regret doing. Just be kind. That's my main goal of all of this: is just be nice, be respectful, be kind. But other than that, now I'm just kind of hanging out, and now I went on a tangent and kind of got away from what I was doing. But again, this video is still going to be posted on YouTube, so you can see it in about 20 minutes as soon as I end the live. I don't even know how long I've been live for now, probably about an hour or so. But yeah, that's it. So, it was weird because I had a bunch of people that wanted to get on with me. I just feel uncomfortable posting something without their knowledge of it. And I don't want to hop them on my live and be like, oh, guys, I'm going to put this on YouTube. And they're like, oh, please don't do that. Then I got to end it, and kind of, so it's just easier for me not to accept them and just kind of get off and then go live on my own. But, again, just to reiterate, if you're I'm One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platforms, guys. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. My YouTube channel is where I want to grow. So I'm One Fun Guy Podcast over on YouTube. If you get a chance to go over there and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. That is my goal, is to get my YouTube channel up and going, over 100 subscribers. Just so you know, this is me on YouTube. I'm One Fun Guy Podcast over on YouTube. If you can subscribe to this channel, just type in One Fun Guy and I will pop up. You will see me there. I have a bunch of premieres. I have a bunch of shorts. I have a ton of stuff that I've done on TikTok. I have all my podcasts are up, the actual ones where I have my guest on. So I don't hide anything over on YouTube. You can see all my videos are up. I try to post something daily. It's hard for me because of my work schedule, because I work a few days on and then I have a few days off. So the days that I'm on, it's pretty much impossible for me to do anything social media, because I'm up in the morning, I get home late, I go to bed, and I just don't have time to do it. But on my days off, like I'm off tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, so you'll see me a lot on social media. I'll be on tomorrow night. I'll be on Saturday when I actually do my podcast with Paranoia Threat. I'll be on Sunday hanging out. I'll do a follow-up. I'll thank her. So, I'm going to post this over. Obviously, I want everybody to watch my podcast on Saturday. It'll be live on StreamYard. It'll be posted on Facebook for One Fun Guy Podcast. So friend request me over there. Or just watch it on YouTube when I post it. It'll be on Saturday night about 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. So I'll go through and I'll pop it up as soon as we're done with our conversation. But she's going to be a great guest. We had a great conversation the other day. We have a lot in common. We met on TikTok, and she was doing some gaming stuff, and I was kind of interested in what she was doing. We just kind of got to be friends. We started talking. We had a ton in common. I was like, why don't you be a guest on my show? She was like, I'd love to. I'm like, perfect. Let's set it up. And we did. So that's how that worked. So networking, conversation, fun, enjoyable, friendship, guest. So pretty simple process, guys. So like I said, if you want to be a guest on my show, send me a message and say, hey, I'd like to be a guest. I'll give you my email, or we'll talk on TikTok or wherever you feel comfortable. And then we'll just kind of delve into a conversation that we have. And then we'll kind of just go from there. And if you feel comfortable, like you'd want to be on my show, because I've talked to a few people and they're like, I'd really like to be a guest, but I'm just kind of nervous and I don't want to do it. I'm like, there's no pressure from my end. If you don't want to do it and you change your mind down the road, let me know. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere, right? So I will be here for a while. But maybe 3 or 4 months down the road, after they've gone live a few times and they're more comfortable with it, they'll say, hey, hey, Amel, what's going on? That I really want to be a guest on your show now. Sure, come on. So that's, hasn't happened. Well, it has happened, but it hasn't gotten to the point where they feel comfortable enough to get on my show. I've talked to them about it, and they're like, yeah, it's just not for me right now. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Perfect. We'll do it again. So that's kind of, where I'm at with this. So I think what I'm going to do is end this live, because I kind of want to go on and talk to my friends. I really want to hang out, but I don't want to have them on and then post it to YouTube with them not knowing that it's going to YouTube, or them saying, I wish I wasn't being posted. And then I don't want to make it uncomfortable and have to do that. So what I think I'm going to do now, though, guys, is end this live. And then I'll be back on in about 5 minutes. I'm going to download this video to YouTube. And then once it's up on YouTube, I'll get back on here. And then I'll hang out with my friends and then, go from there and have a fun night. And I got some errands I got to run in the morning, so I'm not going to make it a super late night. But Reaper, it was good meeting you. I will definitely send you a message. We will keep in touch. I'm sure we're going to be buddies. So as soon as this video is done uploading, I'll shoot you a message on my phone while this is going on, and then we'll go from there. So again, guys, I'm One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platforms. Find me over on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and here on TikTok. If you have Facebook, just send me a friend request on One Fun Guy Podcast. I'll accept your friend request, be a part of what's going on Facebook. Same with Instagram. I'm one_fun_guy_podcast. So One Fun Guy Podcast. As soon as you type in One Fun Guy, it'll pop up with the underscores. You'll see me. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. You can send me messages there. You can send me messages here. I'm onefunguypodcast@gmail.com. So if you send me a message over there, I will be more than happy to read that. I check everything daily, guys, and I respond to everybody, right? I don't have a team of people. It's just me. So if you send me a message and I respond back, it's coming from me, not anybody else. So again, guys, I appreciate all the love and support. I hit 3,000 hearts or Easter eggs or whatever tonight, guys. So thank you so much for the love and support, guys. I super, super appreciate it. Again, I'm One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platforms. You could see this video. It'll be up on YouTube in about 20 minutes as soon as it downloads and I upload it there. And then I'm going to be right back on TikTok. And then I'll be, hey, Brooke, what's going on? And then I'll basically be on with all my friends. So if you happen to come back on and you see me in a battle, or you see me talking in a group, feel free to hop on in and be part of the conversation. But I just don't want to get anybody on with me now, because I do want to post this as a promotional video to YouTube. And I really don't want to have them be uncomfortable with me posting that. So like I said, I'm One Fun Guy Podcast across all the platform, guys. Thank you so much for the love and support. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, One Fun Guy Podcast. Tell everybody that you know about it. Say, hey, I got a buddy. He's on YouTube. Can you subscribe? All the subscribes that I get will be, very, very appreciated. I can't thank you guys enough, again, for all the love and support, for all the encouragement, and everything that you've given me. It does not go unnoticed. I am super grateful for all of you. So with that being said, guys, I am going to sign off. I'm One Fun Guy Podcast again across all the platforms, guys. One Fun Guy Podcast. See you soon, guys. This video will be up on YouTube in a couple minutes, and then I'll be right back on TikTok. So have a good night, guys, and I'll see you soon.